Alright, hey there. So my name is Outmouse or Outmouse Labs or Penny. I'm going to be working on an RPG Maker game today. I'm using RPG Maker MZ. I do switch back and forth at times. So between MZ and MB, that is. I am working on a game where the concept is that the main character wants to catalog every monster in the world. Basically, they want to feel a bestiary. We're going to be doing this with Casper Gaming's Encyclopedia plugin, and this really just gives us a wonderful MacGuffin. Why is this person going to go into the dangerous dungeon? Well, there's because there's monsters in there they haven't seen. So what we have completed already in advance is our opening town, which is kind of your standard fishing village. I've noticed over the years that I feel like a lot of RPG Maker games start in a fishing village. Don't know why that is, but here we are, it's tradition. So this is my rendition of it. We are going to today be working on at least the field that the game kind of starts in, like a mini dungeon tutorial space. We may also do the house. We shall see. This video may end up being cut a little bit short, and if so, I'll pick up where I left off. All right. So let's start by creating our field. We're going to put that under Davenport because this is part of the town ultimately. So I'm going to do a new outside map. We're going to call it Dallin Field. And we'll choose some background music here. I think something... Let's see what this sounds like. That's a little bit more spooky than we're going for. This is kind of the beginning space. Turn down that volume a bit. Oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, we'll do that. I think that'll be a fun kind of theme for a dungeon, but not really. Okay, go ahead and specify our battle back. It's going to be grasslands. And if they happen to have a lake, that would be cool. That's fine. No, alright, we'll just do this for now. We may end up changing out of the default graphics at some point, probably even. I have some various asset packs I've gotten over the years, and we'll spruce it up. But one of the things that I especially would recommend to newer developers is just use the default assets to get your game up and running. It's not super hard to go and change out the pictures later, and it means you can focus on pacing and story writing and development and eventing, you know, the fun parts, and come back and get the artwork done when you want to. Okay. Oh, we should probably make it at least a little bit bigger. We can always whittle it down, so let's start by 40 by 40, which is probably way bigger than we need. But we can whittle that down. Actually, I know that's going to be bigger than we need, so why don't we just why don't we do 30 by 30. There we go. Switch over here. We'll start by filling everything in with grass because it is ultimately a field. We know that we want to have a lake in the middle that's fairly significant because there's going to be a puzzle and everything involved with that. So we can just go, it should be a fairly big lake. And then once you have an outline, you just, oops, fill it in. And then we need, for my kind of the design I have in my head, it's going to be an entrance point from here, so we're going to need some rocky bits, as it were. We'll try it here first, because I think this will work. through and we'll... That's fine. And we're probably going to go in and clean up this rough shape here in a minute. Okay. So all we're doing here is making it an isolated space, right? Which is the point. This is a small tutorial dungeon space type of thing. So we just want to have what we have here, and we don't really have a lot much else. Actually, it doesn't look terrible. Why don't we just move a couple of things in just to make it a little more variable? You'll see why this works in a minute. There you go. Just makes it look a little bit more natural because there's a little more variability. Obviously, we're not going to get perfect, but I think it looks all right. Next up, we are going to want to have a source into our lake. So we are going to go here. We're going to put this in. And then that means that we have to have our connecting point. And it will... Let's see if we can... And what I'm doing here is I'm shift clicking to, I'm shift placing tiles to override the auto tile so it looks the way I want it to. Not perfect, but I'm not mad at it. What we might want to do, though, for this section is actually kind of cheat a little bit here. One of those things about auto tiles that drives me nuts, I must acknowledge, is that they don't play nicely with the like things like the water. Oh well, just one of those things, I guess. There we go. Oh, it looks like we wanted to. Okay, I'm happy with that. We can cover up some of the oddness maybe with some trees too if we want to. Okay. Alright, so speaking of trees, I have some assets that I've modified or downloaded. Most of these are modifications of tile sets that I've purchased, or even the default tile sets that I've just edited. So we're going to go ahead and use those. I think it's going to look a little bit better. I don't really like the default trees very much. I think that they're kind of weird looking, to be honest. So we're just going to go through and fill in with different types of trees. Variety makes it look better, I think, anyway. There's this concept of clumping and cluttering. Clumping is when you put assets together in interesting ways to get a kind of different feel, even though it's the same assets actually. And cluttering is just having stuff everywhere, right? So that can be really, really effective in some situations. There we go. And we'll do some by the water. Not there. I want to leave that space open. And you'll see why. There we go. We'll get some of the bigger trees because they had a slightly different feel. And we'll do just the top so it looks like there's some depth to this space. Oops. There we go. See, that's pretty neat, huh? I can zoom in so you can see that. It makes it look like there's more going on than there is. So, I think that's pretty cool. Although I don't like those white edges there. We might have to do something about that. I really just dislike the way auto tiles work here. I really do. Alright, well, for now I guess we can live with it. It's very strange that that's how it operates, if you ask me. Like, why would you do that? Let's see. Maybe I can do something like put you underneath. So, why don't we try that? Real quick, I'm just going to see if this works real fast. Pardon the interruption, as it were. Essentially, we're putting cliff over top on the second layer, and then we're going to put the grass underneath and see if it does if it gets rid of that white stuff, which I think it might. There we go. Boy, I'm using my backup mouse right now, and it is evident it's working, but just barely. Well, that's interesting. There we go. All right. Nope. Let's see if this works. So now what we can do is go back to layer 1. Ha! Look at that! How wonderful. Okay, so there you go. Just learned something right then and there. If you are running into where you're seeing like white spots where there shouldn't be with your auto tiles, put them on layer 2 and it will fix it. Fantastic. Okay, moving right along. So what we were talking about is that how much putting a couple of like partial trees back there really makes it feel like there is depth going on. I think it works really lovely. There we are. Maybe one more right here. Oh. Okay. Alright, our trees look nice. What else do we want? This is a somewhat manicured field, but I don't think manicured enough to have those bits in it. So, but I do think we can put some wonderful... So I was mentioning clumping. This is clumping. Notice how these are all kind of together in one square. Really makes for a nice, like, doodad, I guess. And it looks much nicer than having like a single rock, right? So we'll put those in. I think these, I don't remember if I made these clumps or if these are ones that came from a set. I think it may have come from the Essentials set, which is one of the tile sets or DLCs I bought at some point. May have received when I bought the game actually as part of the pack, because I actually got this when it was brand new, which was expensive, and honestly maybe it would have been good if I had waited, but I didn't, and I have never been unhappy with the product, so good enough. Okay, I like that. There we go. try to only use a couple of any given doodad. It I think it makes it look a little bit more realistic. Alright, so now we can go look at the default doodads, and they're not too bad. Let's see, we got some. I think that's nice. We'll do like another trick I learned a long time ago from another YouTuber was if you zoom all the way in, you can get kind of an idea of what your player is going to see, and that can give you an idea of where you have blank space, like right here, for instance. Okay. There's another big gap, as it were. So, oh, need to keep that space clear, though, so that's fine. There we go. This stuff can really be your friend. It's really astounding how much of a difference it can make. And when you use it in conjunction with those flowers, which you'll see here in a minute, it can really, really spruce something up. You know, spruce a map up, I suppose. I've always been surprised how powerful this is. And you just kind of go around and add it in where you think it might be cool and where it might actually grow. Alright, and so now we go and we grab some of those flowers and we stick those in, and it really, really can make a difference. Alright, and then we just pepper everything else. Maybe put some stuff up here because the player can't see it. This is where we break the rule of like just a couple because it's out of the main view space, so it's less important that it feel sparse or that we're worrying about where the eye is going to go. This is just background noise visually. I think that's looking pretty good. Maybe one of the mushrooms, because I just think the mushrooms are cute. Total preference thing. Okay. I think that looks pretty good, don't you? Okay, so there is our field, and what we want to do is, since we are kind of teaching the player how to play, we're going to do a couple things right here at the front. We're going to give them a sign to read. And we're going to give them a save point. So I have over here in my sandbox just events that I'm going to use over and over again. You could also just make a common event, but I think in this case it's kind of nice to have the like all just ready to go item. So go, and we're going to have a save point. My save point allows you to turn encounters on and off. So that's just something I've added, but you don't have to do it that way. Okay. And to do that, by the way, just in case you're curious, I have a common event that I set up. Just ask if you want to do that, and then it sets the party to no encounters or turns off no encounters. Actually, I might have that backwards. Set encounters on or off. When on... We actually might need to switch that. That's funny. Okay, there we go. Apply. I'm also going to change that to set battles. because not everyone is a gamer. And then it shouldn't actually be capitalized. Okay, and then we'll need to change that wording a little bit. Oh no, it's good. Okay. Alright, on our sign, we are going to tell them, because the game, remember the point of the game is to fill the bestiary, so we need to let them know. Dallin Field. Unique monsters. 5. And then we can say like bestiary entries, and then we have to go and figure out what that's going to look like. So we go to enemies. Let's say there's going to be, these are just the defaults except for the slime. I think I actually added the mandrake in as well. So it'll be number pretty low experience. 5 and 2. 10 and 8. Alright, well. Okay. We'll just leave it alone for now. That's fine. So let's say that there's going to be goblins, gnomes, and slimes here. And we're going to move everybody down. Okay. We're going to have slimes, goblins, gnomes, crows, venom, body slam. Body slam is so annoying. I'm going to turn it down. Actually, we only have one person in the party, so body slam is actually a death sentence, so we're going to turn that off. So slime, goblin, venom. What's the difference between you and you? Very, very little right now. We need to give them like okay, I'm just moving everything down so I can go through and open this up for enemy skills. Reason we're doing this is because in the encyclopedia it ignores slots that have this in it. Alright, so we want something called like Screech, although there's one called Sonic Wave. What does that do now? Okay. It uses all enemies. So it's almost this. Screech. We're gonna say confuses. May confuse the target. It hits one enemy. Okay, I'm good with the rest of this. Alright, there we go. New skill. Screech. We're going to go back over to our enemies. We're going to give our crow the ability to screech. gonna do it sometimes. There we go. And then we need one more here. I don't think we want something petrifying when there's one person in the party. That seems unfair. Let's see. Well, we need ourselves a monster, and again, we'll add more later. But for now, we don't need anything super special. I'm honestly even a little bit worried about there being... Ooh, crabs. I like that idea. And, you know, one thing we could do is we could potentially put a little bit of beach around the lake, and you can only get crabs there. Let's see what that might look like. I'm just curious. And we may end up not going this route, but it could be cool. So, to put beach around it, we'd want to do this, right? So let's see if that works for us. So we'll go over to layer 1. See, oops. You'll see what this looks like in a minute, and we will see if it works. I think it might. I really do. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of beach, although I hate that. That looks terrible. That looks better. Okay, and then maybe... Boop. Ah, it's the same problem we were having before. Yep, it is. That's all right. Yep, it's the exact same problem we were having before, which is okay. Auto adventures in auto tile. So if you were using MV, which I love MV's starting database. I love MV's plugin support. It is a fantastic program, although plugging commands and doing scripting for it is definitely more of a pain. But this mapping feature with the layers is really the thing. If you are going to use tiles, this mapping feature is tremendous. I really think they almost ought to have backported it, but they didn't, so this is the main reason to use MZ right here. That was a pretty easy way to change something and do something cool. So now that we've done that, we can set our region 8 to everywhere that there is beach. And then we can set it so that the crab only shows up on the beach. And then maybe we can have a fisherman who tells the player that so they get used to that concept. Yeah, there you go. Pretty cool. Alright, so we have that. And before we forget, let's go ahead and make our fisherman as well. Why don't we have him be pretty easy to find? So they're going to come in here. Well, we can zoom in and see what they can see. So they can come in here. If we put the fisherman right here, they will see them. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And for now, why don't we have our fisherman be... Well, not that. Kind of like that. Sci-fi 2, I think that was. And again, I mean, these will almost certainly all change, so it doesn't really matter. Don't look like any of those people. Oh, that's because it was people, not actors. Ha! Do I not have the rest of the... That's weird. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Sci-Fi People 2, their faces are not there. Interesting. Okay. So, for now, we're just gonna do this person, Sci-Fi 1. We will figure out that situation later, but this will work for now. Let's do Floyd. Floyd, there we go. Hey, buddy. Are you looking for giant? Let's see, if you are looking for giant crabs, you need to stay on the beach. They don't venture into the grass. Preview. There we go. This will be true as long as story progression is greater than 1. I always do this in case I want them to say something different later. So like maybe if they have a crab caught or something. Okay. So he's there, looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. We'll zoom back out. Go back in here. Giant crab. And he's gonna be, so we got 100, 200, 250, 250. Why don't we do 250, but we'll do better defense because it's a crab. That's fine. 25 and 20, so why don't we do 30 and 25. 20, 20, 25, 20, that's fine. Okay, experience will be a little bit higher. We'll do 18 and 10. They are going to drop a crab claw, but we haven't set that up yet, so that's fine. They'll do attack, and then they're going to do a dual attack sometimes because of their... They have 2 claws, double clack. They will do that somewhat less often. Okay. I think that works nicely. So now we have five fellas, and that's 1 through 5. So we can go back to our sign. bestiaries 1 through 5. So this tells the player they can find their bestiary entries here. Okay. Now we need to set up some treasure to find. We want them to explore, and typically you put treasure at the farthest away point that they don't have to go. So in that case, it would be right here. And we're gonna do, let's do 100 gold here. And then the other farthest away point that they don't, strictly speaking, have to go is here. And for that, we're going to go in here and we are going to make sure that our armors, so they start with linen clothing. What we want to do is give them cloth armor or a cotton robe, which I am going to change to, yeah, that's fine. We can do that for now. Cloth armor or a cotton robe, depending on their class. So what we want to do is create our treasure chest using the quick event. Treasure chest, it's going to contain cloth armor by default. Bing, we're going to go in here. So this is going to happen no matter what. That's going to happen no matter what. That's going to happen no matter what. This is what's going to change. So right here, we're going to have a conditional branch switch. I set this up earlier, and it's if they're a warrior, then we're going to do this. And we're going to do that because I believe that will be the best thing for the monk as well. I'm going to double check that in a second. Cloth armor is light armor, and our monk can wear light armor. Yep. And just double check, our healer can wear magic armor, and our mage can wear magic armor. So perfect. Go back in here. Double that again. Change it to his mage. Change it to cotton robe. And all of this is subject to change, but this gets us started. Do we want that to be a different color? I think so. I think it's nice when it is. So we're going to do 8 and C0. Actually, and we can double check that that is how we want it to look, which is another nice feature of MZ. No, it is not how we want it to look. Let's try 7. Still not quite right. 6. There we go. That's what we want. And we're just going to go and do C6. Okay, so now we have a nice, slightly customized treasure chest, and then it'll turn the switch on and be done. Perfect. Dunsky. Alright, so we have the 2 treasures we want. We have the fisherman telling you that you can only fight the crab on the crab zone, on the beach. We'll do that one first. Well, that's interesting. That has not updated. That might be a mild bug on their part, or worse, I didn't save. No, I saved. Okay. So, we'll try that one more time, see. Nope, it has not. So there's a little bug in the engine. Typically that means you save and quit, and you come back and it's fine. So, let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn off the video just for a moment. Okay, so there's probably nothing on my desktop that you can't see, but just, you know, I don't want to get copyright struck or whatever. Okay, turn that back on. Nope, Wrong one. There we go. Alright, so now, hopefully, it will have updated. So when we go here, it has not. That is wild. Oh, ha! Figured it out. I updated the enemies, but not the troops. Okay. Oh, well, everybody makes mistakes. Alright, number 7 is going to be... We also need to reduce these to 1, because we only have 1 person in the party right now, you know? It's really not going to go well if they're getting initiative rushed by the monsters. And then we can change the name here. Tip, you can hit F5 to cycle through. It can really be helpful. Giant crab, add. There we go. Auto name. There we go, folks. Sometimes the brain has hiccups. It's just the way it goes. Okay. Giant crab. Specify that they only appear on 8. Everybody else appears everywhere. Oh, need to add the crow. One thing we can do here that I think is smart is when you are in the crab's territory, I want it to be what usually pops up. So we're going to change it to 7. There we go. All right. All right, so we have that. The last thing I wanted to do with the field is have a puzzle. The concept is that we are going to do a researcher who wants to access an island. And so we need to have the island. That would help. Let's see here. Arm's getting tired because I'm using the backup mouse in kind of an awkward way. That's alright. Let's see. How do we want to do this? I think we want to do it like this. It's a green island in the middle of the water. And importantly, we need to have that be flat. So something like this. Okay. You know what? We might actually want it to be this. Yeah, I think we do. And we can have a little bit of, because it is supposed to be like a ruin. There we go. And we can have a thingy that the guy wants to look at. Okay, perfect. And even though it is a scruffy island, there's going to be some life on it. So why don't we grab like a couple of these. And maybe a rock. No, you know what? We'll do some rocks in the water, and I have special rocks for that I've prepared. These rocks have been partially made transparent so that you can, so it looks like they're in the water. There we go. I think that looks good. So there's our thing, and we're going to want to put just an event on here. We'll say, what is this, a dais? It's not truly an obelisk, so, yeah. We'll say ruin. There we go. The faded symbols mean nothing to... Be sure to put same as characters for this kind of stuff. It is easy to forget. So same as characters. Okay, there we go. Alright, and then we need our 4 so they could go there and there. We might need to move that tree. I think we do. So I don't want the tree around, I just don't want it there. That works. Okay, so we want four levers, and our puzzle is going to involve using these levers. So this is going to be lever A. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so lever A now exists. When you press the action button, it's going to control self switch A on, and we're just going to get these all set up. And it's also going to do, so the way we're going to do this is A will do nothing, will only turn itself. B will turn off C, C will turn off D, D will turn off A. And then we're going to change their order around on the map. So A is only going to turn itself on. So that's going to be control switches, lake switch A to on. Now we're going to copy you. And B is going to go here. B. Lake switch B. Oh, come now. B. To on. And lake switch A. B is going to turn off C. So lake switch C to off. And using a plugin command here, we're going to also turn off the self switch for C. Map ID is 7. We're going to turn it off. And then we have to make that event, so we can leave the event ID alone for the moment. So I believe that's everything you need to do. Your self switch, your B on, your C off. Okay, good. Then C can go here. Lever C. It's going to turn switch C on. It's going to turn D off. D doesn't exist yet either, so we're getting there. But C now does, so we can go back here and change U to 9. Which does tell us what that's going to be. This is going to be 10. 10, there you go. Makes you 10. Lever D. D turns off 1. So, or A, so that's 7. Turns on D. Turns off A. Alright, so that should work. The way this should work is to turn them all on, you have to do it in reverse order. You have to figure out which one is D, do D, then C, then B, then A. So D, C, B, A. Okay. Next up, we need to have our bridge up here. So our bridge is going to be made up of tiles. And basically, it's going to be a new event page as below characters and is this here. Only when we'll have to have a final switch the way we did it, which is fine. Only when lake puzzle complete. Okay. Now what we need to do is make an if, and it can only happen with A, so we only have to do this once. So it's a conditional branch if switch A is on, and then inside of that if switch B is on, and then inside of that if switch C is on, and inside of that if switch D is on. Nope. Lake puzzle complete becomes on. The last thing we need to do is copy this, and instead of this, it's if switch lake puzzle complete is on, and then that becomes, that shuts off the ability to continue to mess with it. Alright, let's go ahead and test that. Obviously that's a lot of logic. Hopefully it works. I should have turned encounters off. Alright, so C, or D rather, C, B, A. Bridge appears. Can walk across. There we go. Perfect. One last thing to test. Can we can't do anything now. Wonderful. Worked on the first try. Alright, well, the last thing is to set up our quest giver who's going to ask us to solve this puzzle and give us a prize, and that will be that for this video. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say Arcanist. Choose someone who... If I have a picture, that would be great. At least if it... Not quite what I had in mind. Goodness. All right. This fellow. Oh, there. Figaro. The College of Magic. From the Bard's College. Trying to reach that island in the center of the lake. This mechanism should raise the bridge if operated correctly. It has had me stumped all morning. I would happy to teach you a spell if you can solve it. Okay. So they say that. I gotta go put the right. Okay. So that's a good, that'll work for now anyway. And then copy paste. If the switch lake puzzle complete is on. Excellent work, my young friend. Here is what I can teach you. And then a conditional branch if they are a warrior. We're going to go to change skill. Just of Alex. They're going to learn something that they can use. Let's see. Let's do slash. And we can tell the player what they learn. Learn slash. And we can play a sound. Play sound effect. Let's try. There you go. I'll take that for now. Okay, and then basically we're going to do the same essential thing here. Conditional branch, if mage. We're going to have them start probably knowing fire, so we could teach them like thunder. That would be fine. Okay. Oh, you know what? We could do another class skill. That there is something we set for that. Hello. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And just two more to do, and we will be all set. They will learn a monk skill. Sweep. Learn sweep. Thanks, dear. Okay. And last but not least, if they are a priest or healer, they will learn magic barrier, magic barrier, and that is that. And then whichever one they learn, we will then tell it to do control cell switch A, and we will make a paste event. And they will simply say, again for your help. And that's that. Alright, we are going to test that real fast. Set our starting position here so we can turn off encounters right away. And we know that we need to do D, C, there we go. Oh, well, I should have taught him, but that's alright. Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that one more time and actually turn on the switches. You can hit F9 if you don't know to kind of come into the developer menu, and we are going to turn them into a warrior. That's enough to test. We go here, we check our skills, attacks all enemies. Okay, that's it. We are done with this video. I hope this was interesting, a little bit of development time. We'll do more later. Take care.